1 month into the season, and we've already got some pretty interesting insight on what this year might look like for the Dodgers. My name is Ryan Bershinger. He's Beau Benson. This is the Sick Podcast, the Dodgers Zone. Let's get into it.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to the Sick Podcast. The Dodgers Zone.
Cortez delivers. Freeman hits the ball to right field. She is gone! Gibby, meet Freddie. Game 1 of the World Series.
The sickest LA Dodgers podcast.
Fernando Valenzuela has pitched a no-hitter. If you have a sombrero, throw it to the sky.
Start the party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
It's gonna be sick.
Beau, I'm going to be honest. I almost said swing shift in the intro there. That's why I kind of paused at the title. RIP.
That's fine.
You know,
there was that place.
I can't lie.
That our goal should be to buy that one place that we saw in Arizona that took our name. That should be.
Yes.
I don't know what it is, but we just have to get into that business.
Yeah. One night in Scottsdale on my bachelor party, we did see some business somewhere. Their name was Swing Shift. I don't know what they do.
Yep.
Yeah, we have no idea. And
No
that
clue.
night we were in. I especially was in no condition to try to find out what exactly they did. But
Yeah, you were about to vomit, and I said, "Hey, look at that," and you were like, "Yeah."
Then everything
That's
came
Swing
back.
Shift.
I regained my composure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, speaking of composure, let's look at how the last week and how this first month for the Dodgers has gone, because I think there's, especially from this last week, one major positive, but you know how we do, Beau. We're going to start with the major negative. And the person who can't seem to keep his composure, as in stay healthy, is Tyler Glasnow, unfortunately. So Tyler Glasnow is back on the injured list. Of course, on Easter, he was pulled early from his start because of leg cramps, right? Something to do with his leg. I think it was just cramping.
Well, yeah.
And you figure, like, okay, whatever. Hey, it's not his arm. It's fine. Just drink more water, Tyler. It's okay. Give him a banana. Those are good for cramps. I get cramps in my foot all the time because I am also perpetually dehydrated. And that's my second toe will go the other way. And that's fun when that'll just happen. Like, I'm laying in bed and suddenly I'm like, oh my God, I got to cut my foot off. Like,
Well, Sprite Cranberry has water in it, so I don't know what's causing that. So,
as does Baja Blast. I should be okay. But oddly enough, I guess.
That's weird.
So then Glasnow then made his normally scheduled start over the weekend. 1 week later, again on Sunday, and after one inning of work, then had to leave the game due to some discomfort in his shoulder, which we've been hearing about a lot nowadays. That's why Blake Snell left to start. That's why we haven't seen him since.
Literally, nobody knows where he is.
Yeah. He's just said, I feel something in my shoulder, and then disappeared. That's famous last words. Beau, what are your thoughts here? Because I think that there's a lot of oddly nuance to this discussion. But what are your thoughts on Tyler Glasnow, his health, and what we should expect from him?
Another year, another look at the Dodgers pitching staff as basically the intro to Saving Private Ryan. It is D-Day. The Dodgers pitching staff is storming the beach of Normandy, and they're all just dying over and over and over again. Roki Sasaki is like starter number 2.
Yeah.
Like, which, like, all right, sure, I guess.
Yeah.
But, Glasnow needs to figure it out. If he's actually hurt and this is just going to be the thing with him, then that might be like the worst investment the Dodgers have ever made in a pitcher or a player, really, in general. Like, there's a legitimate question of like how many playoff innings he's ever going to throw for this team right now.
Sure.
Like, that's brutal, man.
I will say he's definitely already topped Jason Schmidt in terms of innings pitched for the Dodgers. So yeah, I can't go that far in the criticism of him. Yes, Glasnow is making more money, but I wonder what Jason Schmidt's contract would be like in present day dollars. That would have to be 9 figures. That would, because he got like 50 million. It was like 4 years, 50 something million or something like that. But yeah, now that would probably close to like a yeah, kind of what Glasnow got, like the 5-110 or something like that.
Probably.
Anyway, it is frustrating, and I've seen a lot of frustration from fans about the fact that maybe like I'm a person who loves to discount the phrase injury prone, because I feel like, yeah,
everybody is.
Yes.
Like,
and especially in 2025, if you're a Major League Baseball pitcher, you are injury prone. That's just what happens to pitchers nowadays. And especially when it's like a leg cramp, I'm not going to fault a guy for a leg cramp. Like that happens. But then you have the discomfort in the shoulder. I don't know if this is too much of a positive spin, but I can't help but still look at Glasnow's injuries, and it's the same thing with Blake Snell, where these are two high-profile investments, and it is still April. It is this year, 2025. I don't know about you, Beau, but I feel like January through March flew by, and then April was like 10 weeks long. It really does feel like we're already halfway through the season, and we're not. We're still, at the time of this recording, we are still in April. So I can't help but feel like this is probably both Glasnow and the Dodgers just being overly cautious.
Yeah,
because
we talked about it this weekend, but like I don't think they care. I really don't think they care this year. Like, I think their goal is getting to October and being healthy enough to field a rotation and seeing what happens. But otherwise, like, they don't give a fuck. And really, that's my message to you: is you shouldn't either. There should not be any hand wringing about results in April for this team. Really should not be. Like, I don't get it. I really don't get it, man.
It's a friend of the show, Blake Williams, has been doing a great job of banging this drum, right? Where like everybody, with every take that he has, every single person that comes to him with a negative opinion about the team, he's like, look, I get it. I just cannot fathom for the life of me caring about results in April. And I fully agree. Like, that's Blake Harris the other day pointed out, like, hey, the Dodgers didn't clinch the division until game 159 of last year. So these games they count, they matter. And sure, yes, every regular season game counts the same. However, what happened last year? Why do I care when they clinched the division last year when they won the World Series? Like, it does not matter. So I think that what we are seeing with Glasnow and Snell, and we're going to see this treatment of Glasnow probably into August.
All year.
Like, at least, yeah. Because all that matters truly is having him healthy for the postseason. I'm rather confident that Blake Snell would be. I can't say that I'm confident that Glasnow will be, because we didn't have him there last year, and as you mentioned, it's entirely possible that we get to the playoffs every year that he's with the Dodgers and he's not even healthy enough to make a start. But if he is, that's a risk I'm willing to take. I understand the Dodgers put that investment in him, but quite frankly, if he's healthy in the postseason, that is a great starter that you can have at any point in the series. And especially if Blake Snell is healthy at the same time, if Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who has been fantastic to start this season and could very much win the Cy Young this year, as I kind of threw out there as a prediction, like, it could happen.
Hate to say I told you so.
You're looking at then Glasnow could be at number 3 in a playoff rotation. That's insane. There's no number 3 in the league that can match up with Glasnow in a single game. So
especially not when you get to the postseason.
Yeah. So I understand, like, it is frustrating, and it's also worrisome when you see the Dodgers have 13 pitchers on the injured list at the moment. Yeah, which they kind of always do. I feel like we've been saying that since last season. They probably started the season with that many pitchers, and I'm not exaggerating.
It's probably Kershaw, Glasnow, Snell, What Brewstar is probably on there.
Yeah.
So that's 4 there.
Michael Kopech
Yeah, Michael
is
Grove,
still around. Don't
the
forget Kyle
Beast.
Hurt. Never forget
Yeah.
Kyle Hurt.
River Ryan.
River Ryan, yes.
Yeah.
Emmett Sheehan, Gavin
Yeah, so
Stone. These are guys who
Whatever.
are still employed by the Dodgers. They are just on the injured list.
Yeah, we're never going to pitch this year.
No.
Yeah, I'm actually
Notice.
mad at Bob Nightingale for posting that as if it was
Yeah.
all 13 fresh arms.
Exactly.
Like, what a jerk.
And what's going to rule is like people will inevitably be like, look at how much money the Dodgers have on the injured list. Yeah, that's what happens when you have a lot of people who are making money.
Yeah.
Some of them get hurt. Yeah, there will be money on the injured list. Glasnow, Snell, Kershaw, like all these guys combined.
Well,
yes, that's
all
a lot
right.
of money, but who cares?
But you know which pitcher really isn't carrying their weight in terms of like their salary?
Who's that?
That fucking Shohei Ohtani guy.
He hasn't thrown a single damn
What
inning.
a jerk. What a jerk, dude.
Unbelievable.
God.
700 million for nothing. 0 innings pitched.
Unbelievable.
But that's like, again, the Dodgers are going to be super cautious with their pitching. So don't be surprised if Tyler Glasnow comes back from the injured list, throws 3 innings, and is like, I don't feel super great, and they just put him on the injured list again. Like
they're going to be cautious with
handle it that way.
everybody.
Yeah.
Freddie Freeman went on the IL for something that you or I would be like, well, that kind of hurts to walk, but I'm fine. Like he could have played through it if he really needed to, but they're like, what? Who cares?
Yeah.
And that's what they're going to do all year. Like, God, man, this is the worst fan base to have to deal with, like a team not caring about the regular season. Like, they're going to freak out if they're ever like 4 games behind in, June.
Yeah.
This fan base is going to freak out. They're going to demand Dave be fired.
Yeah.
Going to be well-deserved that they have to sweat for a little bit. But, yeah, not going to be a fun time for level-headed people.
So I think that's the overarching theme. And the way that the people are talking about the way that people are talking about the Dodgers after this first month of the season, it's as if they're 500. I understand that after like the after the 8-0 start they have been. But also that 8-0 start is still close to a third of the season so far. So it's hard to really, kind of, you want to draw that line of demarcation. But at the same time, again, I hate looking at standings in April, but it is important to use them to contextualize things. Like the Mets are the only team in baseball that currently have a better record than the Dodgers do. So it's hard. It's hard. I think the way that the NL West has played over the first month has made people feel like there's like way more pressure, and there's not. Just remember, this team won the World Series. They need to be resting these starting pitchers. They need to be overly cautious especially if Glasnow feels anything. Put him on the injured list, have him miss a couple weeks. It's fine. I'm kind of assuming that because of his cramps and his shortened start in the last outing, that maybe he didn't go through his normal routine throughout the week. And that led to him just kind of feeling slightly discomforted, I guess, in his shoulder. And just a reminder, yes, Tyler Glasnow has an injury history, as we've talked about plenty. His biggest injury was right after the sticky stuff ban, where he admitted, he used sunscreen and rosin, as did most pitchers in the majors. And his first start after the ban was put in place, he just kind of went cold turkey on it, had a phenomenal start, completely dominated, and then the next morning felt like his elbow was falling off, and sure enough, it was. He then had to, I believe he then had Tommy John or some sort of surgery after that, and then missed 1.5 years. So the guy's got a trauma response to anything that he might feel in his arm. So don't be alarmed when it's April and he's like, maybe I shouldn't be pitching right now. He shouldn't. I'd rather have him pitching in October than pitching in April. It is what it is. Mm-hmm. So I understand it will be frustrating in the meantime. And I know we want to all just shake our fists and be like, he's injury prone. Damn him. What a waste of money. But this is why the Dodgers got like 10 starting pitchers, so they can do this. So, yeah, I'm not concerned.
No, shouldn't be. It should. I remember seeing like a Brian Kinney topic, and it was like, did we overthink that, or did we overrate the Dodgers offseason or something like that?
Yeah.
And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, it is the second week of April.
Yeah.
And like, you think the Padres are just going to not lose a home game, which I think they just got swept by the Rays.
Yeah.
And scored like 1 run over 35 innings or something like that.
Yes.
Like, maybe the Padres aren't, a juggernaut. The Giants, however, do look like they have that 2021 BS back. So that'll be fun to watch unfold throughout the year. But yeah, like, trying to do the whole like fire take with baseball like you do with like the NBA.
Yeah.
It's so funny, and it doesn't work for any of these guys, but they keep trying to do it. It's just, find a new slant, please. Ask me that question in August.
Yeah.
Like, ask me that in August if the Dodgers are like teetering around 500, then maybe we can have that conversation, but not now. What are you talking about?
I think looking at this in the short term in terms of replacements for Glasnow in the rotation, obviously Ben Kasparius has been phenomenal in any role that he's been asked to pitch in this season. If you take out like 2 of his like 1 inning appearances where he got completely shelled, he's got an ERA of like 0.5 or something like that. He's been excellent. He can start games. Obviously, he came up as a starter. He started games last year. So I say just plug him into the rotation. They're also getting Tony Gonsolin back. Tony Gonsolin's going to start Wednesday at noon, which is great. We forget that Tony Gonsolin was an all-star. We forget that Tony Gonsolin can actually pitch really well for a good 4 2/3 innings. But you know what? They need starters right now, and Tony Gonsolin is a starter. So this is a really good time for Gonsolin to make his return, and hopefully,
thank you, Tony.
Yes. Dustin May had a nice outing against the Marlins on Monday night, so he's been chugging along. Unfortunately, he didn't get the win because Anthony Bonda kind of
throw him in the trash. Oh my God, I am well documented as I hate every single one of these players, and he is the one I hate now. I can't stand this. We're gonna be stuck with Bonda no matter what because he makes the fucking stadium go crazy. He's not even hot. I'm so sick of this. God.
He's not even hot.
Ugh. It's always just some random guy that all the fucking Lady Dodger fans fucking lose their minds over. God, dude.
Good news for Anthony Bonda. Because of these injuries, though, there's really no room to DFA him. Because we currently have Yoendrys Gomez was his name. Yoendrys, he had a 3-inning save on Sunday in Tyler Glasnow's injury game.
He went beast mode. Good
job, Yoendrys. I truthfully didn't know who you were until you were added to the roster. And I'm still not quite certain. Because I may have gotten his name wrong.
Pages.
Yes, which we're going to talk about in a second. Matt Sauer is on the team now as well. He's a reliever. No, not Matt Lauer. His name is Matt Sauer. Spelled the same, just with an S instead. And that is the most analysis I can give on Matt Sauer, quite frankly.
It's better than being named Matt Sweet, right? Like, you prefer to be Sauer as a pitcher.
Exactly. So yeah, because this is obviously having pitchers miss time, of course, isn't a good thing in the grand scheme of things. You want, ideally, every starting pitcher throws 200 innings and strikes out 300 guys, and they're all fantastic. But of course, that doesn't happen. And so in this absence of Tony Glasnow, Tony Glasnow. We're getting Tony Gonsolin back. Tyler Glasnow, Jesus, and Blake Snell. Yeah, we're getting some interesting fringe quad A relievers just popping up out of nowhere here.
I feel so bad for Blake Snell. It was clearly like his lifelong dream to be a Dodger, and it lasted like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
poor guy.
Yeah. Well, one guy who's had a really hot 2 weeks.
You don't even care about Blake Snell.
We've talked about it before.
That man was living his dream.
Yes, he is incredibly excited, and you know what?
You're happy to see it taken away. That's brutal.
What he was just streaming the show during the pandemic, right? Like that's what he was.
Of course he was.
He's got more time for that then. He seemed to really enjoy that too.
Like, what do you think the chances are he's on Twitch right now? Doing research for the show.
It is possible. It is.
He might not be, because it still says San Diego Padres on his bio.
Oh wow!
All right, so yeah, he's
okay. You know
kudos
what?
to him. He has not been live for 5 months, so I take it back, Blake Snell.
You know, hey, that's even more credit. That just shows you how happy he is to be a Dodger.
He's dedicated.
Ever since he became a Dodger, he dropped the Twitch thing because he doesn't even need it. This is all the happiness he needs.
Yeah.
All right, good for you, Blake. He'll be back. He'll be back soon. He's like once a week we're getting a report now of like, oh, the MRI showed we got the best news possible. It's not that bad. We were expecting worse. Everything's totally fine. And he's just
and while they're saying that, like, you just see a casket being carried across the background.
This is really positive news.
A poster board of Blake Snell's face with a wreath around it.
Well, somebody who has had a really hot 2 weeks, that was the transition I was using there.
Boom.
Is Andy Pages. Andy Pages was so good last week that Major League Baseball had to name him co-player of the week with a guy who had a 4 home run game. That is
you know what?
impressive.
No, Eugenio Suarez, right? Is that how you say his name?
Yeah.
Eugenio. I just remember the Mariners announcer would always be like, "Hey, Eugenio Suarez." No, he was player of the month because of that, or that player of the week or whatever, because of that game.
Yes.
Because otherwise, it was like he had the same stats as Pages. So no, Pages was the player of the week. They just threw that guy a bone.
Yeah.
It's not like the Diamondbacks have anything else going on. F that. Justice for Andy, man.
I wanted to look this up. Is that the first time that a team has lost when a player has hit 4 home runs?
I hope so.
That's terrible. How does that happen? Because like, if a player hits 4 home runs, you figure that team's going to score more than 7, which is what they scored. I'm sure Suarez drove in all of the runs in that game. So that's a shame. Good job.
Yeah.
Well done. Anyway, yes, Andy Pages was so good that that Suarez made history, and they still gave Pages also player of the week. 13 of 20. 13 for 20 last week. This is I really exciting to see, and it's coming at a great time because overall there's been some dark spots on the offense. You know, there's been a couple guys who are lacking in production. Obviously, we've had Max Muncy's struggles where he had to be reminded to hit the ball in the air, which is odd, but that's so.
All right. I have not been here for a couple weeks. So did you guys like ever ask the Dodgers, like, did you open the question or posit the question, like, why do you have these successful players like Max Muncy or Tanner Scott? And why did you spend the offseason letting them do things they don't normally do? Like, what?
Yeah.
What was the thought process there? This is an open question to the Dodgers organization. If anybody hears this, please come on this show and explain it. I would love to know. Because it looks like Tanner Scott finally said, fuck you, I'm going to do what I do. And now he's back to getting, like, swings and miss and whiffs and all that stuff. So, like, I don't know. Maybe going forward, like, maybe you should just let good players do what made them be good. I don't know. Just throwing that out there. Because it was looking hairy there. Like, I was starting to, like, look up Nolan Arenado. That's how that was. I might still do that, honestly. But, like, what the hell, dude? What the hell was that?
Yeah. it's such an odd decision because there's no way that the Dodgers would tell him to do that. Like that's
No.
what I'm.
But my thing is, like, if Max comes to you or Tanner comes to you and is like, "Hey, I want to do this," your role should be like, "No,
Yeah.
like that's a stupid idea." What are you an idiot? Like, what are you talking about? Like, that's what you're supposed to do.
Right. It's truly bizarre that Max Muncy, according to, again, friend of the show, Blake Williams, it was Max made a concerted effort over the offseason and through spring training to hit the ball on the ground more, which is odd.
It's so it just sounds stupid. It just sounds stupid.
He's the last player in the majors who should do that. Like the absolute last. I can't think. Maybe Kyle Schwarber. Like I don't know. Jock is probably another guy who shouldn't do that.
Well, now, yeah.
But
there's something in common with all these guys. I'm trying to think
I can't think of any. Does Jesus Aguilar still play? Is he still in the majors?
Can you imagine?
He shouldn't hit on the ground.
Can you imagine Big Papi showing up to Red Sox spring training? Like, yeah, I think I'm gonna try to hit more ground balls this year.
I've been thinking
maybe that's why JD Martinez doesn't have a team. It's because he's telling everybody, like, I'm hitting grounders.
Hitting grounders and then at a moving at a walking pace to first base and seeing if that works out for me. I don't know. I don't understand that one. Tanner Scott, I feel like because the Dodgers have such specific methods with their relievers and they have certain pitches that they ask guys to develop, and I could see them maybe working with him and his mechanics in hopes that they like almost find a new pitch for him that might work. But all that caused was then his velocity dipping, and then he got hit more. So, you know, of course, especially with the closer, when you invest that sort of money into them, especially at the start here, let him do what he does, and then let him get comfortable, endear himself to the fan base, and then teach him that wipeout slider.
Hey, Dodgers, that one's free.
There you go. Look at us. But yeah, Andy Pa has an incredible week. Really stepping up at a great time. Teoscar Hernandez has been hitting well as well, and that's been huge because especially since Mookie's numbers are not that strong to start the season. Ohtani is hitting 290, which leads the team at the moment, which is interesting. And guys like Michael Conforto hasn't really found much yet. That's been a struggle. So, of course, Tommy Edman has been super productive in carrying the offense very well. But yeah, Pa has, especially this last week. I've always been kind of, I guess, timid in my endorsements of Andy Pages. I've always felt like there's definitely potential there, and I was good with him, with the Dodgers rolling him out on a daily basis in hopes that something like this could happen, to see that if he really could turn into a solid everyday major leaguer and show that he could probably be that for a decade, and not necessarily with the Dodgers, just in general. And that's what we've actually started to see, not just offensively, but defensively as well. He's really played a very strong defensive center field. There are times where he still has some mental lapses, but the athleticism has been super helpful. He's actually able to make some strong plays out there, and he does have more range than we kind of anticipated. And again, that helps a lot when Teoscar is not a great defensive right field. No. Michael Conforto hasn't played great defense in left. So now if Paz can continue this, and if he can finish the season slashing the line that he's got now, where he's hitting like 270, 380, 500, something like that. If he can follow through with that throughout the season and show that he could really be an everyday major league outfielder. Of course, we've seen those conversations and rumors about Luis Robert already pop up, and the idea of acquiring him to have him play center field. If that were to happen, which one wouldn't happen until the trade deadline. I don't know why we're even talking about trades in April. Yeah. People don't do that, especially not a player like that. But if that were to happen, ideally that happens as a Michael Conforto replacement and not as an Andy Pages replacement, just because of the way that Pages is performing. And then
have you seen his line?
Conforto's?
No, Robert.
No.
Why for what purpose? What would you guess? What would you guess it is right now?
I mean, it can't. He's on the White Sox, so it can't be that good. It can't. Is he hitting like 200, 290, 410, something like that?
152.
All right.
275 OBP.
Okay.
And a 272 slugging. What? This
good.
Shouldn't even be a conversation. Yeah, like what are we doing here?
So
I would rather just call up Kim, and he hasn't even been that great in OKC. But like,
right?
Yeah, I saw that was Nightingale. Get the hell out of here.
Hey, there is an outfielder who is tearing it up in AAA right now. And they just, one that is going off in Oklahoma City. Yeah, definitely not Luis Robert numbers. This guy's hitting like 350. He's popping dingers constantly. He was a borderline all-star at one point.
Oh, hey, dude. I mean, look, it's got to work eventually.
Just for the record,
figure it out.
I don't really believe that James Outman can actually be an everyday player again.
No,
this is kind of.
We've mentioned it before, but like, dude, the AAA environment it's just so different in Oklahoma City.
Yeah,
it's like Coors, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. This feels like what unfortunately Outman is going to be stuck being for his entire career. He's going to tear it up in AAA. He will get called up because of an injury, and he'll give you one hit in 5 games. Like it's, I don't know. I would love for him to actually be, a substantial everyday player. And if the Chicago White Sox seriously view him as a centerpiece for Luis Robert, do that right now, even with Robert's line the way it is this season.
If the White Sox view James Outman as a centerpiece of a trade, I need their top prospect back. That's all I'm saying. I don't know who that is. It literally might be me for all I know. Like,
they saw Miguel Vargas as a centerpiece, and so there's hope. There's hope.
Yeah. See those new City Connects?
I did.
Trash.
I mean,
garbage. Get them out of here.
They I think they look good, but the concept is like, Sports Center once or twice a year on Instagram, because Omar gets paid way too much money to put out just awful stuff. He'll like put out somebody's edit somewhere, because of course none of this is original stuff that Omar makes. He just takes things from other people. And it'll be like an edit of like, this is what, these NBA jerseys in these cities would look like if they used the colors of the NFL team in that city and vice versa. So I guess that somebody at the White Sox saw that and was like, oh yeah, let's do that. And also it's just a desperate attempt to be like, actually, the Bulls are the White Sox team. Yeah, you stay out, Cubs. This is the White Sox thing. Which I don't know. Maybe I don't know where the Bulls are located in Chicago. But I wouldn't imagine you'd want to tie yourself to the White Sox.
Well, they are owned by the same person.
Oh, that would do it. That's right. Yeah, I forgot about that. He's still doing Jesus. Okay. Yeah. Well, that makes sense then. But it's not, I don't know. Their South Side ones were one of the good City Connects, because it made sense. Like, and it was a good design. So I don't. The whole City Connect program is just weird.
And I'm not excited for that to be in the NFL either. That's going to be brutal.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Thank you, Nike.
All right. Well, let's wrap it up there. Again, yeah, Andy Pa has really just a fantastic week, and I think that it's exciting. It's exciting to see him actually show that he can be an everyday part of the lineup. He's been moving up. Max Muncy's been moving down. Michael Conforto, we're recording this on Tuesday. Conforto's batting 9th on Tuesday. Jack Dreyer is starting the game. And we'll see how many.
I loved him in Jaws.
All right.
He was great in What About Bob too. So see how he does.
Monty Bolaños will be back with us next week. Hopefully, again, we've had a lot of scheduling conflicts, but we think that we are the end is in sight. Okay, there's some clarity. Okay, our coworker is coming back from paternity leave next week. As far as we know, he's supposed to actually return.
In case he isn't.
If he isn't, he's not. Better be getting his job. But I don't know. He might be. He should be back. So this is the Sick Podcast, the Dodger Zone. My name is Ryan Bershinger. He is Beau Benson. We are with you every step of the way through this Dodger season as they continue their attempt to defend the title. 1 month down, 19-10. Hey, that's pretty good. In fact, that's better than almost every team in the league. So just remain calm, okay? It's baseball. It's a long season. People will get hurt. Guys will slip.
Maybe Ohtani pitches and his contract becomes worth it.
Maybe he can finally cash in on that Shohei Ohtani contract.
God.
Clayton Kershaw is getting some work in rehab starts. He didn't start tonight because it was potentially going to rain. Why would you want to put Kershaw on the mound in the rain? It's okay. He's coming back. He's coming back.
Okay.
He looked great in his first rehab start. Okay, I saw some of those highlights. He looked, and I think he threw
85.
No,
wow.
He threw like a splitter or something, right? He threw a pitch he's never thrown before, which is
that's exciting.
Which is awesome.
That's certainly no way that makes his body explode.
Maybe he'll start throwing right-handed just to see what it's like. Give it a shot.
That'd be so. What if he did and he just like was fucking like God mode?
98.
It's just. Well, I mean, honestly, it's not like he's used that arm or shoulder before. That's probably like a young man's elbow there.
Yeah, this is okay. This is a good idea.
Figure it out, dude.
Maybe this is the future,
athlete, not us.
Yeah. Hold on.
Your left elbow tears, so just start using the right.
This is the solution to all pitcher injuries. If you have two Tommy Johns, then just start throwing with your other arm. Granted, I think that Tommy John takes a ligament from your other arm and puts it in your throwing arm.
Oh, that's stupid.
You know,
but
maybe that makes the other arm superhuman. Maybe it's like a Henry Rowengarter thing where like the injury on the surgery on the non-throwing arm makes it like just robotic.
Just take the ligament from like a pig's elbow. Why are you taking a human being's ligament? What are we doing here?
Well, soon enough, Clayton Kershaw will be part pig. This is the Sick Podcast, the Dodger Zone. Follow us on Twitter. Follow the podcast at SickPodDodgers. Follow us on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get podcasts, and of course, you can watch us on YouTube. You get to see all of this. Isn't it great? All right. Until next time, domo arigato, everyone. Thank you very much. Y'all have a good night now.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast, the Dodger Zone, on YouTube, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.